Uh, Hello there. Well, this is a little awkward. It seems you really caught me at a bad time. Let me fix that. Oh my god, so much better. I'm a little late to this party, but during fall/winter of 2022, there was a little known manga that got an adaptation into an anime that blew up out of nowhere. Hey, what are you doing here? Sorry, but yeah, it was definitely Bocchi the Rock. You know, I really just gotta be honest with y'all, but Bocchi the Rock hit the anime community and the internet meme culture like crack hit the inner cities in the late 80s. Everyone and their mom was using it, and well, I'm no exception. I was an addict right after episode 1 aired. And to be honest, I have not fallen in love with a manga or an anime like this in many years. The last time I fell head over heels for a show was with K-On! I was obsessed with that show. And what made K-On! Special to me though, was that it was not your typical weird anime that you can't watch with your parents in the same room. It was about a group of friends who got together to create music and hang out. I think that was something I always craved. The making music with friends part, well, maybe having friends too. But I could never seem to have, so it really did strike a deep chord with me. You get it? Chord? Sorry, I'll see myself out. The reason why the music of K-On! Was so special to me though, was that it was something I had never seen before. There are few music-focused anime out there, and even less that are rock-oriented. With K-On!, it hit the perfect niche of a rock anime that I did not realize I craved for so long. Unfortunately though, it wasn't focused completely on the music, rather it was focused on the high school slice of life more. In the end, even with the show not being more focused on the music aspect of the anime, what really topped things off is that music happens to be one of my favorite forms of entertainment. So combining music and anime, no matter how small, was like peanut butter and jelly to me. Also, the occasional splash of autism was a nice touch. Looking at you, Yui. Well, finally, fast forwarding years later, and I'm scrolling through this small app called iFunny, when I finally see this face. I knew immediately I needed to find what this show was called, and some quick Google searching later, I was able to find that show's name. Now here we are, 12 episodes later, and 66 chapters into the manga, knee-deep in memes, music, and screams. Now, I know many YouTubers have already talked about Bocchi the Rock and just how amazing the entire show is, all the way from the animation to the music. If you at the very least have watched anime YouTubers in the past month or so, I guarantee that they have at the very least used the show's amazing gags and faces in their videos. Though now, finally, after the 12 episodes are now finished airing, I feel like I can throw my own hat in the ring and properly talk about Bocchi the Rock. Now, what made Bocchi the Rock stand out to me were these 4 main factors. First is the animation quality. Throughout the entire show, the people at Cloverworks put 110% effort into each frame and scene, with the multimedia animation and quality of movement and characters. Second is how godly the music is for a short 12 episode seasonal anime, with a whole goddamn album that I bought, and I don't have a CD player for. Thirdly, the characters that all feel like they would exist in the real world, with clear motivations, yet are defined by their own quirks that make them human. And lastly, the goldmine of memes this show has created, with the creative animation styles, facial expressions, and gags. Alright, let's get this party started. Straight out of the gate, the first thing that stood out to me from the first episode of Bocchi the Rock was the fact that the studio did not skip on any of the animation quality. You could feel the love and passion in each frame on screen, just from the simple walk cycles of the characters all the way to the climax of a Kaseku band performing on stage. In an interview by the character designer and chief animator director, Kirorira, Google Translate, please help me.
Kirorira.
He states, ever since I first read the manga, I knew I'd want to be involved if it ever became an anime. So I went around asking producers if they'd heard anything about getting an anime adaptation. This just shows, before the show had ever been considered for an anime adaptation, there was love for this manga and a passion to create something special. As an example of just how amazing the animation is, I'm taking a scene from episode 5 after the band is done practicing for the night. We see a gorgeous shot of Bocchi walking home with the subtle way she bounces as she walks. Her hair is slightly flowing behind her with a slight bounce as well, and the movement of her torso as she turns around to see Nijika coming towards her. I mean, just look at the pure passion. I was able to write a whole damn paragraph over a scene that took 10 seconds in a 24-minute episode out of a 12-episode anime. Normally, anime like this would just have a side shot of the characters walking that are easy to animate and even just cutting off the legs themselves. What are you looking at? For every still shot in the show that has minimal to no animation, there's an equal amount of shots that go over the top with insane frame counts and unconventional angles. That really leads me into one of the major details of Bocchi the Rock, the performances. The animation for these performances have no right just being so clean and beautiful to watch. On first watch, you may even find that these use a blend of 3D animation and 2D combined, but no, these are all in fact hand-drawn. All the slight movements of each character, all with their own personality. For example, Bocchi hardly moves, aside from a slight swing back and forth. Then you can see the bond that Nichika and Ryo have as they play together. In a statement from Seiyoto, the series director states, "As a drummer, Nichika proved to be difficult to characterize through her playing. But as old friends with Ryo, we added gestures to show things like the two of them silently conversing mid-performance and placed emphasis on their eye contact. It's this attention to detail that makes each performance worthy of a rewatch, no matter what. There are so many small details in each performance, I could make an entire 5-minute video on that topic alone for Bocchi the Rock. But I'm just a little too lazy to do that, and there's way more to talk about." Normally in a seasonal anime, many aspects of the production are not taken as seriously, whether it be directing episodes, the story pacing, or even the animation itself. The last thing typically on an animation studio's mind is the sound production and the music. Well, aside from the opening and closing songs, usually. And as I mentioned, music is one of my favorite forms of entertainment. Though, on rare occasions, you will have anime that have complete bangers for opening songs. Look at a huge Soul Eater and Chainsaw Man. And even some anime, like Call of the Night, have just amazing soundtracks. Bocchi the Rock, being a show that has main emphasis on the music, the songs, they have to be better than at least good, right? Well, not really. They are goddamn amazing. First, I want to take a look at Seishun Complex, the opening song of Bocchi the Rock. From the very beginning of the song, it hooks you in as you listen. Those opening hits from the guitar that leads into the main rhythm really draws you in as it smoothly progresses to the next section of the song as Ikumi Hasegawa, also known as Kira in the show, start to sing. Otoha, the composer for Seishun Complex, really came out swinging with his musical talent for his opening song and the rest of the songs that he composed for Bocchi the Rock as well. I never found myself skipping any of the intros when it came to Bocchi. I would always just sit and listen to each opening, just so I could admire the music every time. The lyricist Ai Higuchi really did an amazing job with composing the lyrics as well, really making this opening song a song that the Kaseku band would really actually play, especially with the lyrics coming from Bocchi's head. There are two more songs that really just stand above the rest though. These are both different in the anime version than what you would find in the official album, but the anime versions are superior in every way imaginable. These two songs being Seiza ni Naritara, translating to If I Could Be a Constellation, and Ano Bando, translated to That Band. These two songs in the anime version really stole the show, well, mainly because of Bocchi. Seiza ni Naritara is more of a funk rock song that you would find from the late 70s to the early 80s. I really fell in love with the sound of this guitar track, mostly with the distortion and the gain of the guitar, giving a really grunge and classic feeling that you don't really get that often anymore. Each note really just pops out and makes a beautiful sound that just reverberates into your ear. The song is amazing and I highly recommend it to anyone to at least take a listen to and maybe even find a new genre of music they can fall in love with. Though, the real star of this song is the anime version only, where Bocchi's guitar string breaks and she uses Hidori's empty sake bottle to play an amazing improvised riff for her solo. I won't spoil too much more, but if you want to check out the full song without the characters talking, I recommend this video with Ritsuo Mitsui, who is an absolute mad lad and truly is rock. There are other songs in this anime that I just love, but the last song I want to talk about is Ano Bando. Normally Ano Bando starts out with a pretty hardcore riff with the lead guitar opening with a solo as it leads the rest of the band into the song, and on its own is just amazing. It's just yes! The anime version though, that shit hits differently, just like McDonald's Sprite.
Crispy.
It's with Bocchi's defiance to not let her band's dream die from a shaky first song that leads to her performing one of the best guitar intros that I've heard. I can't and won't show the full performance here because to really feel the payoff of that moment, you need to go and watch the show for yourself if you haven't already. Her intro just makes the hairs on my arms stand and it grabs all of your attention, saying to the audience in the anime and in real life, shut up and listen. My two favorite things from the song have to be the lead guitar and the drums. Really, the lead guitar and drums push the rest of the song onwards. It's these two factors that really pull the song ahead for me. The song itself is almost a 90s grunge rock feeling with its heavy emphasis on a deep sounding guitar and drums that just let loose throughout the entire song. That's why Ano Bando has to be number one when it comes to Bocchi the Rock's music so far. On a side note, go check out the recently published full version of Sekak's song. It is amazing. Whether you enjoy anime or not, any lover of music would enjoy most if not all of these songs. I will leave links below for where you can watch and listen to the anime version of these songs and the Spotify album as well. Starting with Ryo. She is a calm and collected member of the band. Well, mostly because her head is empty. Well, aside from the knowledge and love she has for rock music and all its subgenres. Ryo is the bassist of the band and is the one, in the show at least, who composes all the band's songs. She's also the one person in the band who understands Bocchi's underlying issues the most because just like Bocchi, Ryo doesn't enjoy other people's company, though for different reasons. Ryo's able to see why Bocchi struggles clearly, unlike the other two girls. Though, she doesn't typically help because of two things. One, she doesn't want to put in the work, and two, it's her free entertainment, since she blows all of her allowance each month on new bass guitars and hipster foods if she can afford it. Ryo is more than the stereotypical quiet girl, who is smart and can do just about anything. She has a true personality of a loner who likes her me time, and enjoys standing out in her own ways. Her most relatable trait though, is of someone who is constantly looking to make a quick buck so she can stop eating weeds. Next we have Kita, the lead singer and rhythm guitar. She's the popular outgoing band member and one of the major factors in Bocchi's growth from her introverted life. The main reason Kita even joins the band is so she can get closer to Ryo after falling head over heels for her.
Why are you gay?
Kita becomes another driving force to help Bocchi break out of her shell, always trying to get her involved in something new or getting her to talk more in general. She's Bocchi's polar opposite, and that's what makes these two mesh so well. With Kita's impulsive personality and Bocchi's unwillingness to say no, this really just forces Bocchi to confront her fears, mostly by accident. Though, at first Kita joins the band just so she can get closer to Ryo, she later comes to a realization she wants to grow with the Kaseku band, and in turn putting all her effort into the band itself. Even if Kita is one of the more one-dimensional characters of the group, being able to see her interact with Bocchi as her polar opposite, and her small character growth throughout the entire show, more than makes up for that. Then we have Nijika, also known as Dorito. She is the leader of the Kaseku band who tries to keep everyone in line, mostly playing the straight man to the antics, and is the backbone of songs, being the drummer of the band. I may have a slight bias being a drummer myself as well though. Nijika is the one who started the Kaseku band with Ryo, and is also the reason Bocchi is even there in the first place, by literally dragging her to the club as a backup guitarist. As stated previously, Ryo and Nijika have known each other for a fairly long time, so Nijika has had to deal with Ryo's antics for a hot minute. Now because of that, she's become a makeshift mother of the group, keeping the other three mostly in line. As the leader, Nijika is also the one who organizes the band's activities, whether it be creating new songs, merchandising, and just making sure Bocchi doesn't get lost in her delusions. The reason Nijika pushes the band forward so much, without spoiling too much, is that she has a dream she wants to uphold that almost anyone could somewhat relate to. Nijika's character is much deeper than what was presented in the beginning of the show, only being there to push the story forward at first. She has grown to have an excellent motivation to build up her band, and her dynamic with the group really grounds the entire show. I don't want to spoil too much of her character, but her Dorito looking ass has got to be top 3 characters in Bocchi the Rock for me. Now for the star of the show, Bocchi. Bocchi is the lead guitarist of the band and is probably the most talented of the group only because she never touches grass. Bocchi's main reason for wanting to be in the band is to be rich enough to drop out of high school and to become insanely popular to top it off. During the entirety of this anime and manga, we get to have an up-close look to Bocchi's mental state of constant social anxiety and overthinking every situation. The best part of Bocchi is that she is so relatable, even if her introverted side is played to 11 most of the time. Though, what kept me invested in the show was Bocchi and her gradual growth as a character and conquering her social anxiety itself. In the show alone, she goes from barely being able to play inside a mango box to performing in front of her classmates at their culture festival. The latter of which was a major dream of hers from episode 1, even if it was just to become more popular. Bocchi has also realized that she doesn't want to grow alone in her music career. Rather, what Bocchi wants is to have the Kaseku band grow together in their success. It really just gets me fired up to hopefully see the further character development within the manga for Bocchi and the rest of the Kaseku band. And hopefully being able to see her drop out of school. Last, but certainly not least, we have the best girl of the entire anime, Hikuri Hidori. Hidori is the bassist and singer of her own band, Sick Hack, like I've mentioned before, while also being the neighborhood drunkard. Immediately, from her first introduction, I resonated with her. Maybe it's her constant state of being drunk, the trying not to care attitude, or just an overall combination of the two. Whatever it is, she is definitely the best girl out of the entire cast of Bocchi the Rock. But, she does it right though, in that life is always better when you're able to forget it the next morning. Her constant state of being a nuisance because of her alcoholism is a cherry on top. She is a goddamn gremlin, and I adore that. Hidori is a major catalyst in Bocchi's development as a character, forcing her to play an impromptu street show that helped her gain confidence in performing live. Through this, Hidori sees the potential of Bocchi and then later the Kaseku band itself. Hidori is also a major supporter of Bocchi and is always trying to help, if she isn't too drunk by then. I just wish we got more of this drunkard. She deserves way more screen time. One of the biggest driving forces for Bocchi the Rock's success is the gold tier gags that Cloverworks Studio used from the manga itself, then expanding them even further and beyond. There are many amazing gags sprinkled throughout the show that it would be its own YouTube channel. Oh, would you look at that? You were able to tell the animators had a total field day when it came to animating these gags in the anime. No expensive creativity was let go, especially when most of these gags were created by using only one reference panel per animation. If you've ever watched late 2000s cartoons from Cartoon Network in America, specific, I know, you probably remember shows like Chowder with this unique art style and hilarious, though sometimes downright creepy episodes. You will also remember the amazing and memorable gags they pulled with the change in animation style, from stop motion, puppets, claymation, and even live action. These animation gags led into amazing jokes and lined up punchlines for other jokes as well. Some more recent examples on Cartoon Network would be The Amazing World of Gumball, doing the same premise to tell their jokes as well. The team at Bocchi the Rock ran with the same premise to enhance punchlines, emphasizing jokes, and more importantly, creating what the inside of Bocchi's mind looks like. Literally, the two most popular gags in anime are both from the same page from two separate panels. The first being the Bocchi glitch scream, taken from one panel of chapter 7 where Bocchi is spazzing on the ground as usual. Yet, they added her glitching onto the ground so it would transfer over into the attention whore monster smoothly. By the way, fun fact, the Japanese voice actress for Bocchi did the glitch scream mostly unedited. Other examples are with the facial expressions that make Bocchi the Rock truly stand out from other anime. And in turn, those facial expressions are what initially drew me into watching the anime as well. The manga author Hajime Aki really hit it perfectly in creating a face that just shines pure panic and anxiety. I really just find myself having the clipping tool open and ready to go whenever I see some magnificent art on the screen, whether it be in the anime or manga. In conclusion, even after going through everything in this video, I feel as if I've only scratched the surface of what makes Bocchi the Rock such an amazing show. From the songs that have been created, the amazing Easter eggs that were added for sharp-eyed viewers, and the unique characters portrayed in the show. Just every aspect of the show oozes personality, and that is why I love it so much. To anyone who's not watched it, or is on edge about watching it, I highly recommend it. You won't regret it in the slightest. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And, this video took me a couple months to make, but I really just don't regret it at all. Bocchi the Rock is such an amazing show. If you could just leave a like, comment, or subscribe, that'd be wonderful. And I'll be catching you guys next time.